Welcome to Everybody's Got a Price. I am your host, Jeff J. Diddy Die, and this is my lover and partner, Josh Nelson.
I'm so excited we're finally coming out, man.
yeah, everyone's
We did it.
put these ladies on blast, dude. Sorry, chicks.
You're welcome.
It's all been a front.
I'm going to be honest, it took us a while because I wouldn't come out and say that I was with Jeff, but I've decided
He's
fine
decided, you know what, everyone's giving him a hard time about this mustache. Might as well just be honest.
with it. You know? How you been, man?
I'm good. How are you, brother?
I've been good, dude. I haven't seen you in a couple weeks. You've been busy.
Busy boy, dude.
Let's
But
hear
it's
about
all
your last
good.
couple weeks, dude.
Did Gutfeld, which was nice.
Okay, that's you're getting
Got
good
a little
at that.
pushback for calling Kamala Harris a bitch on national television.
Oh, okay. Did you?
Well, I said it the way you'd say it in comedy. You know, like a funny punchline. You know, like I'll do a Gene Pompa joke. Like Gene Pompa is a very funny comedian. Look him up. But he's got this joke where he's like, my mom used to yell at me when I was a little boy, you know. She would just be like, Gene, why don't you do this? And I was like, Jesus, Mom. Why are you mad at me? I'm just a little boy. I didn't mean to hurt nobody, you bitch. And it's funny because
because it's in the comedy.
shock value of saying bitch so I went on this like little roll making fun of Kamala, and then at the end I was like, don't talk to me like that, bitch. And then that got a big pop. So it was more for a comedic.
Yeah.
It was more of a comedic trick than actually calling her bitch. And in fact, actually, let me say this. I don't even think Kamala Harris is a bitch.
Yeah.
I think she seems like a delight. She seems like a nice drunk lady. She seems fine.
Drunk for
In
sure.
fact, like I was more, I think in the history of me even knowing who she is, I've criticized that she's not qualified, and I don't think she's very genuine about the things she claims she cares about, and I don't think that she was a good candidate, and she obviously lied about Joe Biden's health. There's a lot of things I criticized her, but she doesn't seem like a bitch. She seems like a delight, actually. She's more of a trick.
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't think she seems like joyous and like?
I don't know her personally, so
She
yeah,
laughs
but
a
I think
lot.
that could also be an act. I will say
think
that
it's performative.
well, supposedly she's turned over like 90% of her staff. So I can't imagine being delightful to work with if 90% of your staff doesn't want to work with you anymore.
Well, I guess I've just never gotten a bitch vibe from her.
Yeah,
Just dumb or like unqualified.
So what do you mean you got pushback? People in the
just like-
comments yelling at you?
Yeah, like to do it on Gutfeld. It's national television.
Yeah.
To call like any woman a bitch is risky, let alone a woman that powerful. So it's just funny.
What did Greg say?
Well, Greg wasn't
they
there.
laughing,
Greg
or-
is on leave right now, so
Okay.
Tom Shula, the guest host, everyone loved it.
Okay, they laughed.
And the audience laughed because it was just a comedic trick. It wasn't really me calling.
That's
it.
funny.
But then people in the comments are like, "Really? You're gonna call her?" And I was like, I know, just being a little piggy in the mud."
They love to do that.
A funny thing happened to me in Omaha, though. Listen to this.
Omaha, Nebraska.
I'm in Omaha, Nebraska, doing the Funny Bone. Shout out to Colleen and Larry the Cable Guy. So I'm in Omaha. And before I go out, my friends, Scott and Anna, take me out to like dinner. They're like, "You want to do this like dinner? What's the thing where they make all the food in front of you?"
Benihana. Well, it's
Hibachi?
called Benihana.
Hibachi.
Hibachi. So it's a hibachi dinner. They brought all their friends. So it's like all these couples. It's like a pretty big group, probably like 15 of us, I'm going to guess. And they're making the dinner and all the stuff. And then a guy comes over and he's like, "Hey, you're the comedian Jeff Dye. We're coming to your show tonight." I was like, "Oh, nice to meet you." And then another table saw that. And then they're like, "Oh my God, that's that comedian." So I felt kind of like a little bit of a star in this restaurant. And then one of the guys comes over that works there. And he goes, "Do you remember me?" And I was like, "What's up, Tyler?" Like, he used to work at the Funny Bone, so I gave him a big hug. Felt really nice getting just like all this attention.
The mayor,
right?
yeah.
So then the manager comes out and she goes, "Hey, we're so happy you're eating here. Kobe Restaurant would be honored if you would take a picture so we can like post it on our social media that you're here, you know, with all the staff and everything." And I was like, "I would love that." So she comes up later and she goes, "Are you ready for the picture?" I said, "Yeah." So then I get up I say, "Oh, guys, I'll be right back. I'm going to go take this picture." I assumed like all the crew and everything was there. Look at the picture that they posted. Go to
What is it?
Instagram and then go to Kobe.
What is it?
It's like a Kobe restaurant in Omaha. Is that in Omaha?
Yeah.
Indonesia.
You can edit this dead air out, but like, trust me, the picture's hilarious.
He might
Where
have
is it,
to,
Kobe?
Kobe in Omaha, Nebraska.
You might have to go to the Google and then.
I would bring it up on my phone just because it's quicker, but my phone's in the other room.
This one?
Yeah.
But you need their Instagram.
They'll probably be on the website, though.
Oh, maybe.
Dude, look at this image. That's the picture they posted.
They didn't use the staff one.
They did me so dirty.
It's just you saying
Also,
hi.
look, that's been up for a while. It's been up for a day.
6 likes.
6 likes. I'm one of them. But also, how embarrassing is that?
I mean,
I look
whatever.
like a fucking loser. And then that's Tyler, the guy who used to
Okay,
wear.
well.
But that's on the second slide. Dude, how are you going to do me like that?
Did you take a picture with the staff?
No.
Oh, okay. It was just
that's
you.
why when I got up, I like right before this photo, I go, oh, it's just me? And then people in the lobby who have no idea who I am because they just came into the restaurant, they didn't see any of that other
So
stuff.
people are sitting there eating, watching this?
No, people in
Okay.
the lobby were, because this is like outside of the restaurant
You look
area.
so uncomfortable.
I was so uncomfortable. I was like, what is this?
Normally you have like a really good
Dude.
smile. This is like, what am I doing?
How are you going to do me like that?
Like I can look at that picture and you're like, and you're talking through your teeth like, what am I fucking
Exactly.
doing?
The reason I put my hand up like that is because I wanted to do that little kitty cat thing that they have at those Asian restaurants. You know, what are those things? I was trying to do like an impression of it, you know, but because I was like, I panicked. I was like, do something silly. I'm alone in the photo, you know. Cause
Oh, that's
it's like when
hilarious.
paparazzi see you and you like don't know whether to like acknowledge them or to ignore them, like you've seen celebrities do. You know, like with some celebrities just ignore them, but like ignoring them feels weird. So I'm always like nervously kind of.
Will you see what the other pictures are just real quick? I want to see if it's all just food or if it's any other.
Dude, it's so embarrassing. Yeah, look, it's all marketing.
It's all marketing.
Oh wait, that's one. That one's kind of
Oh,
awkward.
there's a picture of somebody else. At least they got 2 people. Okay.
Oh, dude, it was so
that's just their
embarrassing.
thing.
I hated it.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Well, how are you gonna do me like that? Hey, can you take a photo with us for our restaurant?
Us.
That's insane.
That's funny though. So it was good food though?
The food was great.
I saw you catch a shrimp acting like you were fucking Michael Jordan.
I felt cool. Yeah.
Everybody catches them, dude.
Yeah, I caught one too.
I know. But I saw you catch it. You're like, oh! Like,
I
you
didn't
were
go
like
like
the
that.
goat, bro.
No,
I was
dude, I
like,
did-
come on, dude.
I actually I had no sold it.
I was like,
I
this
caught
is
it went like this.
it's probably his fucking 4th take.
No. Well, you know what's funny is I'm really good at catching food in my mouth.
Okay.
It's one of my talents.
That's a funny thing to me. Is that big
Well, what
mouth?
we used to do in elementary school, Chad Gamble, shout out to Chad Gamble. He was this kid who became real popular and stopped being like nicer to me because he was popular. But like in elementary school, before Chad Gamble was famous at our school, we used to take grapes. We'd bring grapes to school and we would throw them like baseballs. I mean, we're talking like 100 feet away. And we would just be like scaling them up and then catch them. And it was great because if a grape hits your teeth or your lip, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
And so we got really, really good. We would throw them so fucking
That's so
far.
funny.
We also would do this. This is kind of grosser and riskier. We do this in youth group where we would take an ice cube and we would spit it as far as we could and they catch it in their friend's mouth. And then they would spit at the ice cube. It wouldn't feel gross because it's ice. You couldn't do that with COVID.
Were
now,
they your
but-
dude friends?
Yeah, guys.
So you were making out with your dude
In
friends?
a weird way, yeah. But the straightest way to make out with a dude. That is the straightest way to make out with a dude.
Christian's face is great.
But the ice would like that could have banged our tooth.
Oh,
so that
yeah.
was pretty risky.
And it was like when it was in the air, it was drying out. So
We
it
should
wasn't.
film me catching grapes at a distance like that.
Let's do it.
Because like I can, it's insane how.
What about Dylan Cease throwing a grape through your back of your throat? Can we film that?
Or
That'd
we
be
could
really
film
funny. A fastball.
Fast.
It's like it's not even about me catching it. It's just about me dying.
You're just in the catcher's position with your mouth open trying
Yeah.
to catch a grape.
I once during COVID or during lockdown, I caught a marshmallow out of one of those marshmallow guns right in my mouth.
Oh God.
Dude, it was.
Yeah, that had some
fast.
heat, huh?
Oh, it was awesome though.
That's great. Where'd you do that? And where did you
Just in
have
my
a
kitchen. It was lockdown.
And where did you have a marshmallow
shot it?
gun?
Jeff Zanasek had a marshmallow gun.
So many questions.
Yeah, it was hilarious. Jeff Zanasek, 6'7", grown man, and then me, grown man, in our kitchen, and we're like literally giggling.
How
drunk,
far away was he?
Giggling drunk and shooting marshmallows in each other's
How
mouths.
far away?
Probably.
I mean, 10 feet, 20 feet, one
I'd
side
say
of your
10
house.
feet's generous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's some heat.
Maybe a little less, but it was like the reason I thought of it is because you said Dylan Cease throwing a grape. It literally shot in the back of my mouth like I
Yeah,
caught it.
choke you.
Because you're just trying to go as wide as possible, like. Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
All right, so
That
that's
was
the
maybe pre-COVID actually.
well. That I mean, yeah. Either way, it's hilarious.
Either way.
Nebraska.
And Nebraska was good. New York was good.
You've done a lot. You did Rogan.
Did Rogan, which was nice.
How was that?
Lauren Compton's podcast. I did Tiger Belly.
Even on the podcast
Matt
tour.
McCusker's. I did Brute Kreischer's. Those still haven't came out. Did Adam Carolla's. Drummed up some fucking personal shit on that, so that'll be interesting to see the fallout from that.
Oh, no.
It's okay. And then, just been a big podcast run. It's been great.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Kill Tony. Did Kill Tony?
Did Kill Tony. Barely spoke. It's hard. Here's the thing about Kill Tony that's difficult. It's already difficult to know when to get in.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like jump rope. You're like, when do I get in? Because it's Tony's show. So Tony wants to...
Yeah, he's going to dominate it.
Well, not that he's dominating. It's his show, so he wants to, like, get the information so you can make jokes about it. But it's also tough because he wants you to go when he's ready, but then also he wants to give you permission. So, like, you need to be able to, like, kind of give him a cue that you've got something ready. But then that kind of kills the timing of it.
Yeah,
you know,
I
like
got
a
you.
lot of funny parts is like just chiming in with something. But you can't just chime in if he wants you to wait for him. So that's always like something I overthink.
Gotcha.
That's on me, not anyone else. But then also I had to be on with Rick Glassman. And Rick Glassman just fucking pulling mustaches out of his pocket. He's doing gags. He's in a constant shtick.
Yeah.
So the entire Kill Tony is me smoking cigars and just looking around. I might as well not even have been on the podcast.
I didn't watch it, but I saw a bunch of comments just talking about Rick Glassman and how terrible he was.
Oh, yeah. It was like people either loved him or hated him.
Yeah, most of the comments are just like, what was that?
There
What
was
is he
nobody
doing?
that was just like indifferent.
This isn't a popular take, but I'm not a big fan of the show at all. I get why people are. I know I shouldn't say this is a comic, but it's very hard to watch. The interviews are too long. I don't know. That's just kind of my take.
No, there you go. Look at Josh.
Yeah, dude, I'll say
It's
it.
very rare.
And then like a comic gets up for 1 minute, and then they just become a star. And
That
like,
part is problematic.
I mean, I guess it's good that they're making stars,
good.
but also it's like one guy has a minute, and then he goes around and he tours around the country.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, and then people go to see this guy, and then how can they be good if they're only, they don't have
It's
enough
not
time.
their fault that they're not good.
So-
I talked to multiple people who have been like, I go, how long have you been doing comedy? They go, 5 months. I said, holy shit, that's pretty, pretty exciting, pretty having a good time. And they're like, yeah. I'm go, where do you get up? They go, I've done Kill Tony 3 times. And I go, I know, but like, where do you go perform? And they go, I've only done Kill Tony. I was like, oh my god, so you're gonna say you've done comedy for months and months and months,
And you've done Kill
and
Tony
you've done
3 times.
comedy 3 times.
3 minutes.
That's 90 seconds of comedy.
Yeah.
And it's also like they're like, people are recognizing me, and it's because Kill Tony's so big.
It's crazy.
Like with Last Comic Standing and AGT and all these kind of like talent show things, say what you want about them. At least most of those people have some sort of a career before they showcase it. To just get on Kill Tony when you've never done comedy before, and then now you're like booking a comedy club, like that's a problem for our business.
And I get they can find some stars and some good people, but it's just, that's one thing. And then I get why people like it. It's, you're watching an open mic, and
So that's
people
really what it
like
is.
watching people either do well or train wreck. But as a comic, you go to open mics, you see that all the time, so you don't really enjoy watching that. And then the interviews are just like 7 minutes, 10 minutes too long. So I'm not a fan. I watched the one episode you were on, and I was like, all right, that's enough for me to watch it.
It's tough. It's a real tough thing. Like,
But I get
there's
it.
so many things too that are like just tough about it. I also don't know how anyone's funny on that panel. Like, I don't know how you could. I've seen I've seen reels where people are being very funny. I did it once with Kimberly Congdon, and she had these great funny observations. Shane Gillis, you see the reels of him on there, but the show's 4 hours or whatever, so it's like you kind of got to get in when you got something, and then whatever. It's just a lot. You're basically just an audience member when you're on the show. You're just kind of watching it.
Yeah, that's hard. That's hard.
Tough.
Because you want to just chime in when you want, but like you said, you got to. Yeah.
I also think the reason the show's so popular is because there isn't anything like that for people to watch. So we're in the business. We see stuff all the time. We see all the different types of comedy shit. But for like an audience member that just like has Netflix, it's either stand-up comedy specials or this. This is the only kind of thing they see that is like a variety show, but it's also stand-up related, They don't see a lot of things that aren't.
Well, it's funny that they go to all these, but why don't they just go to all the open mics around the country? Just go to all of those. Like, that's what, But it's, I don't know. It's just, it's hard to watch for me. But that being said, if I was asked to get on it, I would fucking go on it.
Yeah, that's the only reason I did it is because I'm like, I'll never say no to the biggest show.
Yeah.
Whether I'm gonna look bad or not. I mean, people were pretty harsh on me. Like, people were like, Jeff Dye fucking sucks. You didn't even say anything. You're like, I don't know what you want me to do. Yeah. I'm next to an autistic comedian, and also like I'm not a mean guy, so it's not like in my wheelhouse to just shit on some open micer.
It's got to be hard too, because sometimes you're dealing with like actual crazy people that are up there on stage. You're like, what, are you just gonna shit on this guy?
Yeah.
Like, or somebody that's really trying, you're just gonna shit on them.
And also, I thought of 1,000 things I could say. If anyone's familiar with my career, I never shut the fuck up. I'm talking from morning to night. There's no shortage of Jeff Dye talking.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I would think of a thing, but it'd be more like advice for a joke. Or, oh, what made them do this? I didn't have some zinger ready to go that the crowd would like. And you can really tell that that's what the crowd wants. Like, why isn't he calling him gay?
Yeah.
Hey, why isn't he? So I'm just sitting there kind of going, I don't really... Twice I tried to chime in with the one thing. I was like, oh, you can't have sex in Morocco, like unless you're married. And everyone just looked at me like, what? And I was like, because there's a Moroccan comedian, like this chick. And then I was like, no, I was in Morocco and you can't have sex. Like, I was trying to like open up this idea or this premise. And then everyone in the crowd's like, what?
No, just shit on him.
This guy's talking about fucking in Morocco. Like, why didn't he call this girl fat or something? They didn't, like, it's not really my...
Yeah, no, they just want people to roast them.
Yeah.
I could just see you're like, well, you should take out a couple words and maybe switch this around.
Yeah.
You're like,
because that's what it is. If it's an open mic, like I'm thinking, like,
you're trying to help him out,
or like I want to get to know more about him, or so.
Yeah, that's funny. Something happened on Rogan that made me laugh. You did Joe Rogan, and I listened to the part of the episode where you were trying to talk about being a cowboy.
Yeah,
and how great I got what you were saying. You were trying to say how you would just be like disconnected from the phone and all the world and everything. And,
this is great. Dude, Joe's the man, first of all. But second of all, it's like, I am aware that I am not a real cowboy. The joke in my tour being called The Last Cowboy in LA is because, and I have a bit about it, but obviously no one heard the bit, is that like, I'm not a cowboy. But that's how gay LA is that it's pretty easy to be a cowboy here. Like, being a cowboy in LA, all you have to do is believe that, like, men can't have babies. And everyone's like, what are you, some sort of dumb hick? Like, that's the joke. Is that now California is so pussified that I am like a man's man, and I'm not a man's man. That's the play.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, look at this guy. Thinks he's cosplaying as a cowboy, like he's from LA. It's like, yeah, dude, that's the fucking joke, stupid.
Well, you did.
But anyways, my obsession with cowboys started with Red Dead Redemption, the Ballad of Buster Scruggs, like this kind of idea. When I started doing mushrooms, I really had this like epiphany of like, although times were brutal, you didn't have a phone. You didn't know people that weren't in your network. You didn't have any idea like who the leader of Spain was. You didn't know any other comedians. You just knew the funniest guy in your town. That was kind of my point. And so times were simpler.
Yes.
And I'm trying to explain this kind of mushrooms idea to Joe. Like, you didn't look at 9 million hot chicks on Instagram all day. Yeah, because you just had your wife. And if you got the hottest girl in town, you had the hottest girl in the world, because you didn't have all these Instagram models and shit in your phone. So while I'm trying to go down this path, Joe got super excited too. He's like, okay, we're riding on the ridgeline. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm just saying, we would brush our horses. He's like, yeah, brush our horses. And I was like, all right, Joe's really into this. Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And then I go, we wouldn't know. Blah, blah, blah. And then Joe's like, no, because they'd be trying to slaughter us. Then the arrows would come down and they'd try to be scalping us. I was like, no, Joe, that's not what I'm...
Yeah.
Dude, and I tried over and over to try to get back to my little, like, sweet mushroom theory. And Joe's just like, yeah, they'd be raping us and killing. And I go, Jesus Christ, Joe. But, like, because Joe was trying to make a different point.
Yeah, he was.
That, like, it wasn't just some cowpoke sweet boys eating beans out of cans. That America, and... long before it was called the United States of America, when it was just native land or indigenous people land, life has been brutal. All the natives who weren't just all sitting here singing Kumbaya, there was like thousands of different tribes, and they were slaughtering each other and fighting for territory back then. That's the point he was trying to make. But those are so separate points.
You were like, it wouldn't be cool you couldn't see like what your ex was doing. He's like, yeah, but we would be dodging arrows from native tribes.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, dude, it
was amazing.
It was so funny.
And I would
watch him not go. He wasn't going down that path at all with you. And it was so, because you were like, oh man, I don't know
trying
what
to bring it back.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah, it's also like a good comedian or a good comedic voice, not necessarily like a stand-up comedian, but a funny person is in a way somewhat contrarian. Like in improv they teach you yes and.
Yeah.
So if I say, good to see you, President, you can't go, I'm not the president. You have to just take what I've said and yes and it.
Yeah.
Right? That's good, like, sketch comedy. But I think with stand-up and a lot of comics, like, we're trying to always, like, be like, well, here's what nobody thought of, or, like, no, but. Like, no, but here's... And so Joe just kept doing that to me on that.
Yeah.
I was like... if your girlfriend learned, or if your wife learned guitar, you would think it was amazing back in the old days. Whereas now you would just be like, big deal, she's no Bob Dylan. Because again, I'm doing the comparing thing. And then Joe just goes, well, that'd make you a real shitty husband. And I was like, I know.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Stepping on all the setups.
I'm saying that you wouldn't be able to compare because you wouldn't know Bob Dylan if you didn't have the. It was just so funny.
It was very funny.
Dude, he's one of my favorite people.
Because he wasn't trying to do it on purpose either. He was just like intense on the opposite.
I love talking to him.
It was funny, man.
Yeah.
It was good. So,
he's easily my favorite person to talk to because he's just willing to go on any journey verbally.
That's great. What you ready for Thanksgiving and Christmas and all that stuff? Oh, how was your Thanksgiving? What'd you do?
I went to my friends Jeff and Emily Wirtz. They say hello.
All right.
Emily's pregnant.
Nice, congrats.
Baby number 2 is on the way.
Jeff, I don't know if you just saw that, but I just got you, bitch.
He was so mad. When you got him on Thanksgiving, you sent him that gift or whatever. He goes, did you tell him you were here? And I was like, no, but I'm sure he saw it on my Instagram.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
I'll just send, I believe if I was back in the Wild West, I'd be one of the fastest gun drawers.
Which is comedic because he doesn't own guns and doesn't shoot guns.
I'm an athlete, so I know I would be. And so I was telling all my friends that I would destroy them, so now we just send like gunfire.
It's not athletic. It's a
every
skill.
once in a while. It would have been athletic back then.
It's a skill. It's not an athlete. It's not like a physical feat.
Well, I'm athletically skillful.
It's the difference between like chess and football.
No, it's not.
Sure it is. Like one is a skill, and
you got to be able to hold the gun, spin the gun, shoot the gun. That's all athletic.
It's just hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, which is athletic.
It's a skill. All right, I guess a better example would be the difference between golf and football.
Yeah. Good at
baseball,
both.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Are you?
I'm not good at golf, but
yeah, and golf is similar to
yeah, I don't know.
hand-eye coordination.
Aren't you wearing a golf shirt?
It's a tournament shirt, kind of. So what else? What else do we Thanksgiving? It's a golf tournament. It's a memorial golf tournament shirt. But I don't play golf.
Oh.
We just talk. We roasted at the golf tournament and talked shit to all the golfers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like put air
That's
horns
another
in their
thing I got to
backswing.
get off the ground.
Yeah.
I did a show called Normal World in Dallas with my boy Dave Lando. It was so funny, but we got on the subject of like NASA, like how shitty NASA is. Have you been to NASA in Houston? They haven't done shit.
Not since I was a kid.
They haven't done shit forever. NASA hasn't done anything. They show you the spacesuits that went to like space. Well, by the way, we didn't go anywhere near the moon, but we're in space, right? And so they show you like, oh, these are the spacesuits that went on the moon, and it's like solid steel with like little patches of fabric. You're like, dude, this was in space. They would have all died. Like they didn't do shit. And then out of nowhere, like the best engineer that's been alive in the last 100 years, Elon Musk, goes like, I don't know, let me try to figure out how to get to space. And then NASA's like, okay, now we're awake. Can we just piggyback on all the things you're doing, Elon? Like it's embarrassing.
Yeah, did they run out of money or like what happened?
Just like it was all like a coup to just try to be number one in America.
So you don't think moon landing happened?
I don't think it happened.
That's your conspiracy?
It's nonsense. It's not a conspiracy. It's just there's just no way we went.
All right.
What about you?
I don't know.
I've discovered a TikTok page where it's this guy that literally is like at the ISS and all he does is post from space. It's insane.
Oh, space is real.
Yeah, I know that, but I think we've been to the moon.
You know how far the fucking moon is? You know how dangerous it is to get out there? And they claim they did it on live television in the fucking 60s. also like just like, all right, we're live from the moon, and then the just no questions asked.
It does seem very.
And then they just cut off, and then we go, how come we haven't been back to the moon? They go, no reason. It just, and then it was just like a big like, look, Russia, we're at the moon.
Yeah, you could see why it could be fake and why they would set it all up because they wanted to look like they were the superpower, but also, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've seen a spaceship take off.
If you listen to like professionals of how dangerous it would be to like get to the moon, like the odds of us doing that successfully would be incredibly dangerous with literally no reward other than being like, look, we did it. And then but at the time it was a really big deal. The space race was like this huge thing we were doing between Russia, and then Kennedy, he's trying to look like the hero. We're trying to make America number one. So all you got to do is get a bunch of guys and you go, listen, we're going to send you to space. You're going to fucking play ball, right? And then when you come back, everyone's going to call you a hero. We're going to say you're the first. And also you're doing your country a great service. So just keep this lie forever because we want to look like we're number one. You're doing America a great service. You're going to be the beneficiary of all the glory. And you go, well, how come Buzz Aldrin or Neil Armstrong wouldn't just say that they didn't go? It's because they're the ones getting the glory for it. It'd be like if the NBA was rigged and they're like, well, why didn't Jordan tell us? It's like, well, because then you wouldn't give a shit about Jordan if you found out it was all fake.
Yeah, but on your deathbed, wouldn't you like? Don't you think one of them would want to be like, yeah, fuck it. By the way, we didn't go to the moon.
No, because then you go, oh, wait, you lied your whole life, and then also
but you're dying, so who cares at that point?
I think people care about their legacy.
Yeah, you don't want everybody to know you as the liar.
I think people care about their legacy more than you think, if that's your take.
Do you think that we actually send like rovers and shit to like Mars and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think machines have been up there, but like I think also we're talking about 2024. Like we're sending satellites. We put all of our fucking garbage out there. Like there's a lot of like debris and shit. I think that we have cameras that have gone all over. I think that we have machines on the moon, machines on Mars. But like the idea that we sent, these white guys there like in the 60s live on television is so preposterous. We shot a monkey out there. That fucking thing died pretty quick.
Russians would shoot dogs out there too.
I know.
But also, you have to take into account, back in the 60s, the government had technology that we weren't even aware, like way ahead of its time that we weren't aware of. Kind of like apparently there was something that we had the technology for an iPhone in the 90s, shit like that. They have technology that they don't tell us about, so maybe they had the technology to get us to the moon.
I think it's the reverse. I think they want to put a big flex and they want you to think, oh, our government is so smart and they have all these things. It's like, no, they're pretty good at like weaponry and shit. They've gotten weapons to like the ultimate capacity where now we're just kind of all afraid of like whatever. But as far as like when it comes to space travel and these kind of things, it's pretty regular.
It's a coin toss.
Pretty annoying. Yeah,
I remember though in like 1998 or something, like watching a space shuttle take off and go into the space. So
no, I think we were
that
in space.
happened.
I think
you
we
just don't think
then.
we went to the moon.
Oh, I think we were in space like since probably the 50s and 60s. Like I genuinely believe that.
Just the moon landing.
Going into orbit is a wildly different thing than going to the moon.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but also like not only were like they have failed over and over and killed a bunch of astronauts, not to mention one that was like, this is all a coup. They fucking killed that guy quick.
Oh.
Okay.
There was a guy who like basically was speaking up against the space, like speaking up against NASA and all these different things. His name's Gus something, and then at one point he put a lemon on a hanger in one of his things to say like this is a lemon. This whole thing is bullshit. And that guy magically was
disappeared. Huh?
No, he just got killed in a rocket that set on fire. They basically, I think that was on TV too. Yeah, Gus Grissom. Yeah, and so like they basically just killed all these astronauts who pushed back against the idea of it.
So did you guys bring all this up at NASA when you went?
I asked a ton of questions just about how but I think we've been in space. I think the space program is a far cry from being on the moon.
Yeah.
Like that's all that I'm saying is like, come on, give me a break. Not only we had like little scooters up there, the guy's playing golf. He puts a flag in. Like what are we doing? Like, and it's also like it's so preposterous because they literally announced it like at the time, and they go, all right, we're on the moon, and you go, well, wow, they just magically
we didn't even know we were working
to the moon.
on that. Yeah.
Not hey, in 3 nights they're gonna be on the moon. Hey, come back. We'll see if they landed safely on the moon. It just went, we're going to the moon. All right, look.
Yeah, here we are.
And then they go, we're at the moon. And you go, what are you talking about that you're on the moon?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. The reason I thought of it is because Joe had a super good argument about how dangerous it would be to get to the moon. He interviewed some guy a long time ago, and like he was talking about how much nuclear fallout. I'm going to use words that are going to completely discredit me, but like there's some sort of danger about leaving the atmosphere that would be like, it would be almost impossible to do now, let alone back when they claimed they did it.
Yeah, I don't know anything about space. Is Mars farther than the moon, or is it
Way
close?
farther?
Way farther?
Yeah, like way.
Okay, so we're trying to go to Mars. So maybe it happened. I don't know. Oh God, Earth is flat. Let's not go there. Yeah, but then that's what's funny. If somebody says Earth is flat, you think they're an idiot. But right? Or is that changing?
I don't think those are the same thing at all. Well, here's the thing about the Earth being flat. I said this to Sean, one of the monkey triplets, just a few weeks ago. Here's the thing about the Earth being flat. Let's say someone has some good evidence that the Earth is flat, right? Give me some evidence that the Earth would be flat.
I couldn't give you any.
Right. So let's say somebody out there could give me 3 reasons why they theorize that the Earth is flat. And you go, okay, you just gave me 3 pieces of evidence. A smarter person than them can give me 20 good pieces of evidence
argument
that the Earth is round. So I think my argument would be that there's far more evidence that our Earth is round than there's evidence that the Earth is flat.
That's
even
fair.
if there might be some evidence that the Earth is flat.
Yeah, that's fair.
I also don't see the motive for it. I could give you 3 motives of why they would fake the moon landing. It was all like money and making and patriotism. America's #1, and like we did the space. You know, we got to space first. Fuck off, Russia. You don't need to worry about going up here no more. We put a flag on it like we owned the moon. You know, like our country, not Earth, not like a big Earth flag. They put on a United States of America flag. So there's just a good reason to lie to everyone about going on the moon. There's not like a good reason to lie about flat Earth.
Yeah, I agree.
What's the motive?
I mean,
They're like, well, because Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates don't want you to know about the land that's outside of that only they can go to in Antarctica. Like, I mean, this internet has made everyone crazy.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is people will see videos like this and be like, oh, that's fake. Like, it's literally proven right here that the Earth is round, and people, that people
fake.
see this and they're still like, no, it's fake. It's the Earth is flat. I'm like, you are. I can't even say the word. But
well, I will say that the most generous argument I've heard against flat earthers that was very like a kind way of putting it was on the Flat Earth documentary by a guy that works for National Geographic, I think. He was like, what they're doing is just science. You know, these people have a hypothesis that the Earth is flat, and they're just basically gathering the science to kind of like prove their hypothesis, and all they're doing is like just doing science. The problem is we've already done that science.
Yeah.
They're doing science that's really old, that someone else has already done. And so like you got to give them credit. They're trying to like figure things out on their own, but like in a way it's just like they're going to come to the same conclusion that everyone came to back when
It is pretty crazy to think about it, though. We're on a circle, and it's like moving around. Yeah. Like, that's parts you're like, that makes no sense either.
What I mean, like, but the fact that it's round?
Yeah, the Earth is round, and it's moving around all the time.
Yeah,
and
it's just gravity, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it pulls everything in, and so we're safe. You can't fall off because you're being pulled in.
But why gravity, dude? Like, that's...
What do you mean, why?
There's just a lot of shit where you're like, none of it makes sense.
I saw something...
Why does that happen?
Well, I know what gravity is.
But that's my point. It's all pulling into the center of the Earth.
Gotcha.
So it's like all of our understanding is based on that. Yeah. Walking. It only makes sense because gravity. Everything that we put on tables, like we have such a primate understanding of gravity. Like, oh, we just know that that's what keeps us, you know?
But why is there no gravity up there?
Why would the gravity pull a flat? It's just not how flat, like... Gravity would pull all in, even from the bottom. Everything would be pulled in.
Yeah, man, but why gravity?
What do you mean?
Why do we have gravity?
Oh, God, dude. God needed you to be able to put shit down. Can't be floating around all willy-nilly.
Space is not my world. I don't know nothing about it. I feel like an idiot when we talk about it. Speaking of planting flags, this is going to be way different. There were like 9 brawls this week in college football.
I know, I saw that.
And it's because what's happening is a team will beat somebody on their rivalry, and then they'll try to plant their flag in the center.
Is it always the flag?
And it's the flag. And that happened in like 9 games, and they were brawls. And, dude, what's your take on that?
I saw the brawls. The problem is the worst part of me likes the brawls.
Well, yeah,
It's
I think
very
people like the
exciting.
brawls. They're
I know.
fun.
But they are wrong. You shouldn't fight. Here's a note. All right, here's my take actually on this. Fight all you want, boys. I love you. But you don't get to act tough if you keep your helmet on and you keep your pad. You get to, I'll fight anybody. Yeah, I would too if I had armor on.
Yeah.
Like, they're not tough.
But also, if you're in a brawl, don't take your fucking helmet off either. The
I
guys
would.
do that.
Game's over. Take your helmet off.
Bro.
You're a bitch.
Even
That's how you
hockey
get
players-
knocked out.
That's what I like about baseball. Like, they don't have any armor on. If you're going to try and act tough, you got to come at 'em.
Hockey fights are the best fights in any sport, I think, besides like professional fighting.
Well, those guys are better fighters, and they're also bigger, and they're athletes. So you have all 3 of those. But they sometimes
And they're
keep
on
their
ice.
shit on, which bothers me.
A lot of players take their will
That
take
should be
their
the
helmet
first
off,
thing.
they'll take
Gloves
their helmet
off and
yeah.
helmet off. But sometimes they won't. They'll just start. 'Cause I guess probably timing.
Yeah.
But like you will see guys just in fights and they got that stupid helmet
Yeah,
on.
so there actually was one this weekend where a goalie got into a fight with one of the players, and if you don't shed the blocker, then you get like a game suspension or 2.
What does shed the blocker mean?
Like take the goalie's blocker off, because I don't know if you see what a goalie's blocker looks like, but if you get hit in the face with that, it fucks you up.
I don't know what it is.
This. No, what the fuck?
That big pad?
It's up one of these things.
It looks
That
soft.
they wear. It's not. This is all hard because you take pucks
Yeah, it's
to
like in a
the
puck.
hand. So,
Interesting. See,
So
I've
you
never
can't
even
hit
heard of
somebody
this.
with that.
Yeah, because it goes over your knuckles too. Like it goes out over your
Oh,
knuckles.
I
so
like
if you
that.
punch them.
I wish he'd have kept it on.
See right here how like,
Goes
it
to
goes
jail
over a
for
little
using
bit.
Well, there's a reason you get suspended because somebody's done it before and it didn't
for
work out
sure,
well.
dude.
Yeah, goalie fights are the best, and I think when goalies fight in the NHL, there's nothing better.
So goalies have like a little shield.
Yeah.
They have a glove that they can catch the puck, and they have a
Pussies.
shield. This is like the closest to like a knight.
Pussies.
Yeah. But when goalies fight, they're there's a rule in hockey, like an unspoken rule, like where you don't go after a guy with a bigger stick than you, meaning like you don't go after the goalies because they have the most paddings, and like if I went and tried to fight the goalie, 90% of the team's gonna try and come and fight me after. So like that's why. if
Well, of
there's-
course. If
yeah.
you were in hockey, no one would ever fight you.
me,
Yeah. You're small. Here's how it works. Like that's the checks and balances. Like you'd be the quick guy that gets all the goals. And if someone checked you, not fight you, if they checked you too hard, we bring in the goon, and that guy's gonna fuck somebody up that checked you.
believe it or not, due to my size, I still was the goon on my team.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, then you're just good at fighting.
Yeah.
But I mean, like the goon is what keeps everyone honest. You don't see a lot of guys fighting like.
Yeah. I wasn't the most skilled on my team, so I knew I was the smallest, so I was like, I have to make up for it in some aspect.
Yeah,
so I was
nice.
always like the biggest hitter because I was like, you can hip check in hockey. I don't know if you know what that is. It's like when
I mean,
someone's
I've heard the
coming.
term hip check, but
It's
You
when
hit 'em with your
someone's-
hip.
Yeah, someone comes down, like you hit them with your hip, and they go flying over your back. I was
Yeah.
like really good at that because I was low. So
Yeah.
like I just
were we together when we looked at that video of the guy getting checked so hard that he broke through the glass?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So good.
That was cool.
I know it's happened multiple times, but
That's a good rule for life,
the
though.
video of that is so great.
That's a good rule for life. Don't mess with a guy with a bigger stick than you.
I like that. Yeah, it's a good
rule
metaphor. Yeah.
That's a good metaphor.
Well, and also there's a metaphor from what he just said too. It's like, hey, if you know you can't do something, you're gonna have to overcompensate in other areas. You know, hey, I'll contribute by fighting these fuckers because I know that I might not be as talented as. I'm not as talented as that guy. All right, then I'll make up for it
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
fighting a guy. You know, you kind of know what you.
So real
know your
quick,
role.
whose side are you on? So Ohio State plays Michigan. Michigan beats Ohio State. Michigan plants a flag in the middle of Ohio State. Ohio State comes out and fights them. Do you think Michigan should be able to plant the flag or that?
I get both because
Yeah.
you know, like T.O. right. T.O. went out as a 49er. They're beating the Cowboys, and he went and like danced
on
the flag.
Yeah.
And I go, I love that. I love it. I like it. But then the fucking guy goes out and tries to just knock T.O.'s head off of his body for it. And I go, I
Yeah.
like that too. He defended the star.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What's your take on it? You got a strong opinion on it?
I don't think if you were gonna plant the flag on my home stadium, we are going to fight. Like,
Yeah, so you're fine with it.
I think it's fine. Yeah, I don't think you should be able to, like, even if you win the game, you should not plant the flag on somebody's stadium.
Yeah, it is very unsportsmanlike.
Yeah, and there was, like, every game was they brawled in every game.
Here's a good question for you, and I want you to be honest.
Yeah.
So, like, how much is too much celebrating if you're at home?
I think if you're at home, you can celebrate all you want.
So, like, you don't think, like, if the Dodgers were to beat the Padres and it's Dodger Stadium, do you think, like, how much would be, like, and be honest, like, do you think that it's okay? Like, yeah, they beat us. Like, they can have their little party, do their little bullshit.
I think the party and all that's fine. It's
If
just
it's at
when you're
home.
rubbing, it's at home. You're just unless you're like rubbing it in the visitor's face, like in
Okay.
front of them.
Yeah,
but
because
yeah,
I
no,
think
the party
like if
at
the
home.
Padres
Yeah.
beat the Dodgers and it's in Petco, let's fucking party.
party.
But then I also think if the Dodgers beat the Padres in Dodger Stadium, I'd be like, let them have their fun. They've earned it.
Yeah,
You'd think that?
yeah. I think
Okay.
if you're home, yeah, you get to celebrate with your fans.
Yeah, because
Your
people
team.
want to. It's
But if you Dodgers win at Petco, they don't do a celebration on the
That'd be-
fucking.
well, they do.
Yeah.
They do. That's the
Then
problem.
you'd be like, all right, dude, we're fighting.
yeah.
You know. So I don't know. It's
Interesting.
crazy though. But the brawls were fun, man. They make it exciting.
Yeah, well, it's great. And also, like, guys that maybe aren't watching every second of college football or pro football, when something like that happens, it's what we like. I love that kind of
Yep.
shit.
You're gonna be like, all right, we gotta. So they're gonna make a rule on that. No planting the flag. I guarantee it.
I don't know.
We'll see.
Wait, did we talk about the Tyson, Logan, Jake Paul thing?
Yeah, I think we've talked about it last time because the fight was so bad or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, let's. I got one last question for you. We didn't do any. Everybody's got a prize questions, but I got a question. I thought about this the other day. Curious for you too. Could you take off? Would you take off 5 years of your life,
Okay.
and you could give it to somebody else?
If I could give it to someone else.
You could give the 5 years to somebody else. Would you take 5 years off your life?
Well, we've talked about this before on 12 packs. It's like I would have to then acknowledge when I'm going to die.
Yeah, you don't know. You
Which
don't
is
know when
like-
you're gonna die.
Because then it wouldn't change anything.
Well,
Because I don't know when I'm going to die anyways.
yeah.
So those 5 years, it's not like right before death I'd be like, fuck, I want those 5 back. You know,
Yeah,
like it would
yeah,
just
yeah.
be like, it'd be like just dying anyways.
Yeah, it could.
But I also don't love anyone enough to give them 5 years
oh my
of mine.
God.
Who you gonna give it to?
Jesus,
What, you guys
dude.
thought of
Family?
people immediately?
I would
I
give
did.
you 5 years of my life,
you
no
wouldn't.
problem. Yeah.
No, you wouldn't.
What a monster.
Who would you give 5 years of your life to? Christian?
You.
My mom, my family, honestly, like my mom, dad, brothers, any of them. But it also has to depend on like, is it 5 years of just normal life, or is it like 5 years of fucking like they're gonna have a good 5 years?
Instead
or
of
what is it?
80, you died at 75.
Yeah, so like if they have cancer, right? And then they like you go, well, I'd like to give her my 5 years because this is breaking the family's heart and we're not ready to say goodbye to her. I want to give her my 5 years. But then now she's got 5 years of cancer,
No,
right?
it's 5 good years, dude. They get 5 good years.
Well, because I'm trying to think what would make me
do it.
decide to give her the 5 years, you know?
Yeah.
Must be something happening.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard because, like, if you look and your mom's 75 and she's going to die at 80, you'd be like, all right, I'm going to give her 5 more years of my life.
Yeah.
But then what do you do if you go, all right, 5 more years, and then you just die?
Or I
because
give
you
her-
were going to die in 5 years.
I give him 5 years. All of a sudden, we have a falling out. I'm like, hey, man, I gave you that. Like, I would be very, like,
Give me
annoyed.
2.5 back.
Yeah. Can I revoke the 5 years? This
Yeah,
guy's
can I-
fucking not even talking to me anymore.
There's actually like a really good movie that kind of has that
Of course.
theory. It's called
Of course it is.
I think it's called In Time.
I came up
Yeah.
with this.
Justin
time.
Timberlake?
Yep.
I came up with this idea, and now it's a movie.
So I believe there's a flaw in this film. So like in the movie In Time with Justin Timberlake, which is his first movie as a lead, I think, he time is like your currency, right? So like if you want a meal, you have to pay like in 45 minutes of your life or whatever. But the problem is it doesn't just factor real time in general. So right, like now it's currency and time is ticking. Does that make sense? So it's like, oh, like it's going to take an hour to get to that restaurant, plus it's going to cost me 45 minutes. So everything would kind of be like doubling in a way, I feel like.
Oh yeah, because the time to take
Time
to
is
get
just
there,
happening.
Yeah, time to get the time that it would take to get there, and then you got to spend.
And then we're
that time.
adding more
Yeah.
time. Like, so I'm going, oh, fuck, man. I wouldn't even go to that restaurant.
Yeah,
It's
you
an
wouldn't-
hour away.
You wouldn't go
Let
anywhere.
alone
Look at that.
giving you an hour of my to pay for the meal. You know,
You wouldn't
like-
go anywhere.
Yeah, I was always thinking that. That's kind of strange.
That's I never thought of that. That's a great way to look at that. I like that.
All right. So you wouldn't give any time. You wouldn't give 5
I can't
years
think of
your
anyone
life.
I'd give 5 years of my
Wow,
life to.
what a monster.
I can't.
I would give up 5 years of my life.
To who?
I mean, family. But
We have hearts. We have hearts.
No, I just think that's how life works. You age, you die.
yeah, but
Also,
I mean,
let's say I'm 84 and I'm limping around and shit. I would never expect anyone to be like, "Can I have 5 years from you?" Like that's so like I would never expect.
what
anyone
if
to
you
do
could
that.
go back and give 5 years from somebody that's already died?
That changes it. I
Yeah,
actually
see,
thought of
that
that
one.
earlier because you're wearing your
Yeah,
Kurt
yeah,
shirt.
that would change it for me too.
Wait, give it to someone who already died?
Yeah, if somebody passed away that you knew,
then
could
you
give
miss
it to
them.
them.
Yeah, I would do that.
Yeah, that's
I like
different.
that.
That's a different thing.
Yeah, because that just changes it all.
But
for
then, like
sure.
you said, you were gonna die in 5 years, and you just died.
I'd be like, come on, just give me. Because I always think about. So here's another reason why I immediately said no. You said, "Would you give 5 years to your life?" And I was like, one time my sister asked me for help her with a house, like $100,000 or something, and I was so quick to tell her no, like fucking no. I'm not gonna give anyone $100,000.
Yeah.
Like, well, not anyone, but like I was like, I'm not gonna give my sister $100,000. And then I was like, well, I'm damn sure wouldn't give anybody 5 years of my life if I'm not willing to give them $100,000. So if I'm that tight about $100,000, I'm definitely not giving you
Your
5
life.
years of my life.
That's too
So I was
funny.
just trying to be honest, but I should have lied like Josh and
No,
said,
I'm not lying,
sure I
dude."
would. 5 years of your life.
It would suck, dude. I'm 46 and I give up 5 years, and then I was supposed to die at like 51, and now
Yeah.
you're like, oh no, dude, I got a year left.
There's a guy, a shout out to him, and his name's Jeremy. He's awesome. He's got this great gym in Arizona that's really awesome. And me and Jeff Wirtz, who I spent Thanksgiving with, and this guy Jeremy were sitting there, and we were basically doing the podcast, there.
Yeah.
And he was like, how much? Because we were talking about Ippy, which is the translator for Shohei Ohtani, who's basically the fall guy, if you believe that Ohtani was gambling. This guy's going to have to go to federal prison.
Yeah.
But he's going to be taken care of if you believe that Ohtani was really doing the gambling. Like, if Ohtani's like, you were willing to go to jail while I continued to have a great life and being a Major League Baseball player. Don't worry. When you get out, I'll give you.
Yeah, what amount?
So what amount could you go to prison for 1 year and then, like, let's do more? Like 1 year of prison. We're talking hard
All right.
prison.
We're going to not do that this episode. We're going to do that next episode.
Okay. Think about it.
You got to think about it. Next episode.
Yeah. We love you. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you, guys.